Hi, everyone. I'm Connie, and this is my second of my book reviews to give you some suggestions to read or listen to. Today, we're going to review autobiographies and mysteries. I also tell you about a couple of authors for those of you that are looking for new authors that you may or may not have read any of their books. I do this once a month around the middle of the month. So let's get started. The first author is Tana French. The interesting fact about Tana French is she is 52 years old. She was born in 1973. And she is an American Irish writer and a theatrical actress. She is a longtime resident of Dublin, Ireland. She trained as a professional actor at Trinity, and she works in theater, film, and voiceover. Her books are mystery novels that started with the Dublin Murder Squad series. There's 6 books in there. It's 2007 to 2016. And then she has the Cal Hooper series she started in 2020. There's 2 books and it goes to 2024. So check her out if you haven't read anything by her yet. Now, the next author is a little bit everybody kind of knows who she is. It's Colleen Hoover. The interesting fact is she has written over 23 books, and she self-published many of her books until a publishing house finally approached her. Her books are young adults and new adult, contemporary, and psychological thrillers, most known for It Starts With Us and It Ends With Us. Her real name is Margaret Colleen Hoover. It Ends With Us is the most current movie made from her books, which I'm sure everyone's heard about this movie. Her books, Verity and Reminders of Him, are set to become movies in 2026. So stay tuned for those movies coming up. Moving on to autobiographies. The first one is I'm Glad My Mom Died, and it's by Jeanette McCurdy. She was a former child actor. If you remember the show iCarly, she played Sam. She struggled to do whatever made her mom happy. You know, she was 6 years old when she had her first acting audition. But her mother controlled what she ate, calling it a calorie restriction, of which she ate little, and she weighed herself consistently. She had to endure her mother showering her until the age of 16. Can you even imagine that? She recounts the anxiety and the shame and unhealthy relationships that she went through that led to eating disorders and addictions. And then when she gets to the point in her career where she lands the lead in an iCarly spinoff, which was called Sam and Cat, excuse me, her mother dies. She spends time in therapy and then she quits acting. She wants to just go off and do whatever she wants to do. And, bless her. Good for her. And I'm glad things are working out for her now. The next autobiography is pretty well known. Excuse me. It's pretty well known. It's Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. It's been out for a while, so you may have already read this book or listened to it, or you may not have. But he writes on his 50 years of life and what the meaning of life meant to him. Throughout the last 35 years, he has been keeping diaries, poems, prayers, and beliefs about what matters, and he strings everything together to discover. If you know how and when to deal with life's challenges, how to get relative with the inevitable, you can enjoy a state of success I call catching the green lights. Very well written. I really enjoyed listening to this audiobook, with the reader being none other than Matthew McConaughey. And he does read it fantastic. And we all know that Matthew McConaughey is an actor. It's been around for quite a while, so I'm sure there's no one out there that can't say they don't know him. He did the All Right, All Right, All Right, and great, great writer, great writer. So read that book if you haven't read it yet. Um, and let me tell you, if you want to listen to it, it's even better because Matthew McConaughey does a great job of narrating that book. The next ones I have are Oscar nominated novels. And the first one is Killers of the Flower Moon by David Grann. Interesting fact, the author is an American journalist, a staff writer for The New Yorker. In summary, the story takes place in the 1920s, where the Osage Nation in Oklahoma became the richest people per capita in the world after oil was discovered on their land. Suddenly, one by one, the Osage were being killed, and then Molly Burkhart became a main target, and many of the relatives of hers were shot or poisoned. Even the people who dared to investigate this were murdered. Then J. Edgar Hoover, who was the director of the FBI, enlisted a former Texas Ranger by the name of Tom White to figure out what is happening. Tom White, then, with the help of an undercover team and a Native American agent, exposed this chilling conspiracy. Now, this was uh, Tom White was portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio. And if you didn't see that movie or read that book, it's up to you whether you like to see the movie first and then read the book, which sometimes is what I like to do, or whether you prefer to read the book first and then see the movie. But do either one of them or do them both. The next one is Poor Things by Alistair Gray. Interesting fact, he is a Scottish writer and an artist. His first novel, Lanark, is seen as a landmark of Scottish fiction. In summary, taking place in the 1880s, Glasgow, Scotland, Archibald McCandless becomes enchanted with the interesting creature of Bella Baxter. She is the product of Godwin Baxter, of which she was resurrected for the purpose of fulfilling the whims of her benefactor. Mm. Archibald becomes obsessed and claims her body and soul. Bella is looking for her own passion that leads her to aristocratic casinos, a Parisian bordello, and a Scottish church where she gives herself freely. Her desire to seek her identity and understand if true love has a place in her life or not. Interesting movie, very different, very differently done. I think you'll enjoy that if you like something that's a little bit different. Both of those are definitely Oscar nominated, and should have been. So pick or choose or watch them both. Do what you feel or read first. Mysteries. Mysteries are the next one. The Last Devil to Die is by Richard Osman. Interesting fact, the author is an English TV presenter, producer, and novelist. He also created a BBC quiz show called Pointless. A very talented man. And this is the fourth book in the series, The Thursday Murder Club Mystery. These type of, I read all four of them already, and I enjoyed them all. And they are more mature people that play detectives. They get together and they figure things out, and the words, the wordplay, the humor, everything is really interesting and well worth this read. So, in summary, after the news that an old friend has been killed and no one can find the package he was protecting, the Thursday Murder Club is involved. The gang encounters drug dealers, art forgers, and online frauds. They begin to doubt each other and not sure who to trust anymore. And weaved into this story is a romance fraud case and the challenges Stefan faces with his progressing dementia. The book carries lighthearted humor and poignant moments to create a compelling and emotional, resonant read. And it was very good. So, if you haven't started that series, pick it up. It's a very good series. I enjoyed it. The next one is The Maid by Nita Prose. The interesting fact is Nina's real name is Nita Pronovast. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. She resides in Canada, and Nita is a book editor. The Maid came out in 2022. So, in summary, Molly Gray is a 25-year-old hotel maid. When Molly discovers Charles Black, a wealthy guest, dead in his bed, Molly finds herself as the prime suspect. Molly suffers from social skills and her obsession with the love of cleaning. But now in order to be clear, she has to find the real killer. If you watch my last video, so that's the end of the mystery ones. But if you watch my last video, I said I wanted to read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. And so I was really excited about it, and it was well worth it. There's no doubt. But I said I would give you my thoughts on it. And so I'm telling right now, I'd say it was very entertaining and great humor throughout the book. You were told right from the start where the killings were happening and what chapters in the book you could find it in. I found that to be funny. So all the murders seemed to happen at the ski lodge that they were at. There were many that happened while they were there. But this Ernest Cunningham, who is the lead in this book, he's the one that has to figure it all out and work with all his relatives, because all the relatives are here at the ski lounge, and find out what happened and what took place. So there you go. It is worth reading, so go ahead and pick that up if you're interested. And that was Benjamin Stevenson was the author, so have at it. And after that, I read Martyr by Rory Clements, and that was very good. It was a historical fiction, and it took place in 1587, and it was really disturbing in a lot of ways, though, because they were pretty graphic about some of the torture that they put these prisoners through. And of course, a lot of these people got thrown in prison for not even having done anything, but it was just the way it worked. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and read that. And right now I'm reading Girl in Pieces. Kind of as a grandmotherly thing, because my granddaughter wanted to read this and I didn't think it was appropriate possibly for her age. So I'm reading that now, and I'll let you know how that works, whether it is appropriate for younger kids or not. I'll let you know. But thank you so much for being here. If you come back to watch again, I appreciate you so much. And if you're new, I am so glad you stopped by, and I hope you continue to come and watch these so curious videos. Until the next time, bye.